What's up, guys? Straight from the chest. My name is Justin Groth, and guys, I want to welcome you to another episode for the uninitiated. Guys, this is a personal development podcast that I gear towards hopefully igniting and extracting the dormant passion that lays within you. It's a part of my mission, I feel, in life right now to do that. And, you know, when I say you have dormant passions that lie within you, what I'm really pertaining to is you have abilities and you have talents and you have things that you probably haven't even identified yet with. And it's, I hopefully this podcast allows you to reflect on those particular abilities and take action in regards to what those abilities are. Hopefully the way that you reflect on it precedes action, and hopefully that action draws out meaning to your life, because that's really what your whole entire journey is predicated on, finding your meaning, because your meaning is your truth. Whatever you find truth in is directly tethered to your meaning. And that's really arguably the only thing that you can base any kind of substantiality on, is your truth. And we all have a truth. So in that light, that's why this podcast exists. Hopefully you can take something from it. And guys, again, for those of you who are new, I want to welcome you. And for those of you who are longtime listeners, I always say it every podcast, I'm indebted to you. I'm very grateful that you listen to me and you take your time for me. It's something you'll never get back. Guys, I want to tell you a story real quick. And the story goes back to when I was a toddler in my parents' kitchen. My mom used to have these pre-made meals that she would heat up. And to do so, she would heat them up in boiling water. And so, you know, about 2 or 3 times a day, she would have hot boiling water on the stove. And, you know, it was just a little pot, little like a, 6-inch deep pot that she would boil water in. And being the toddler that I was and very curious and inquisitive, one of these times I went over to the stove and I saw the handle hanging over the stove. And I take my hand and I reach up to grab it. And down came the scalding hot water all over my face and body at about 3 years old. And I was rushed to the hospital. My dad rushed to the hospital, blew every stop sign, because at that point, who cares? This is his son, and he's got skin peeling off of his face. And I get to the emergency room, and the doctors are scrubbing my skin. I had 3rd-degree burns all over my body. My face, my body was covered in 3rd-degree burns, and they had to scrub to get the dead skin off so that would heal me. I mean, I'm no skin professional. I don't understand that, but that's what they had to do. And luckily, I had no scars from it, and I stand before you today, clean skin. And thanks be to God. I don't know how that happened, but it happened for a reason. And I don't know what that reason is, other than just for me to tell you the story probably, and you to take some type of a preceding element from it that may help to relate to you in what you're going through or not. The premise of that story is to tell you this. If there's one thing I know about you without knowing you directly, I know that God will never give you too hot of water that you can't make it out of. If that water were 5 degrees hotter, I probably would have scars to this day on my face, on my body. If that water were that much hotter, or I hadn't been rushed to the emergency room in time, and I hadn't had the doctors that work on me, and I hadn't had the precedent favor that I had, my skin would look different today. God's never going to put you in too hot of water that you can't get out of unscathed. Never. That's what I know about you right now. When you get older, you realize that if you want to evolve and you want to become an elevated version of who you were yesterday, you need to take a risk on something. And all too often, we don't take the risk because we feel like it might confuse our life even further, and it might make matters worse, and we don't know how to get out of it if it does. But that's not your concern. Your concern is to find something that you can do in your life, with the abilities that He's given you, because you know what those are. You just suppress them, but you know what they are. And your job is to do one thing. It's to take a risk that's worth dying for. Because if you don't take that risk, you know the end of that story. Your risk is directly tethered to the meaningful existence that precedes your life, and that is arguably attached to it. You can pick any risk you'd like, but the point is you need to pick a risk and you need to go through with it 100%. It's not up to you to work out the details. What you don't know is that God is already and has already orchestrated and tethered opportunities and promotions and increases over your life based on you putting faith in Him and the audacity nature to take the risk that's actually meaningful in your life, that you albeit know true. He has something waiting on the other end of the spectrum, but you need to take the risk. And if you don't take the risk, here's what happens. Because you're a human being, and because God created you, and when He created you, He gave you gifts and talents, and He gave you a certain amount of gold that can be bestowed upon the rest of the society. That gold is the abilities that He gave you. When you don't choose to bring that gold out and share it with the public, and share it with your community, and you hold it within, there's no meaning in that. There's no substantiality in that. The gifts and the abilities that he gave you are canonical to your meaning in life, your existence. And they've been there since you were born. But we never really start to identify anything of substance until we start to come into our own skin. And this could be you be 20 or you could be 60 listening to this. And this applies to you. Because if you've listened this far, you're intrigued. And if you're intrigued for a reason. And it's because this has probably gone unnoticed to you. This is paramount to your existence, is finding the truth that you would die for. And the truth is innately wired to your biological mainframe, your biological constructs. It's something that you would stand up for to the day you die. And it's something that you would die for. And it's something that you would fail for. And it's something that you would be drowned for. And it's something that you would get beaten for. And even if nobody believes you, you can't help but identify it as the one truth that you know, even if it comes with a whole bunch of ambiguities attached to it. It's paradoxical. It might be contradicting what you're saying or what you're doing in life, but it's truth to you. And that is something that you cannot brush under the carpet as though it means nothing and it's frivolous. That's the reason why you get up every morning. That's the reason why you haven't taken your life yet. That's the reason why you haven't I'm going to stop there. That's the reason for your existence. Nothing in life is going to be cold or lukewarm. Anything worth existence and meaningful existence is going to be hot. It's going to cause you some discomfort and burns along the way, but none of it will be permanent because you have a God that's already ordained you with favor and orchestration of promotion and increase in your future. But you have to do your part, and your part is taking the risk. Taking the risk and being willing to lay down for what you deem true. Please don't allow this message to fall on deaf ears, because it's quite potentially and possibly the most meaningful message out of 134 episodes to date that I've ever expressed. Done.